G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game. We are here on Rocky River to watch two Conqueror 3 players take each other on in this match. We've got a pretty good matchup here today. Jeez Louise, bit of a start there for you guys. Let's talk a little bit about it. So let's introduce our players first, Strongo. In the south of the map in the color orange, playing as the Chinese, we've got Core. And on the north of the map in the color purple, playing as the Ottomans, we've got Mr. Skibbity Toilet. That is correct. We brought him in. We didn't think, we didn't think he was going to be doing too well, seeing as how... what is the lore? There's a big toilet, and then I know there's the camera heads as well, and there's just, yeah, that kind of went crazy. I wonder if it's still that crazy. You know, I've got a younger brother, and, well, he's very much into that kind of stuff. He's not that young, but I think he's into that stuff unironically. But it kind of becomes this thing where I think if you get into something ironically, there becomes a point where you get into it unironically as well. Like where you just start saying it to your friends. I don't know if you've ever experienced that, but it's, yeah. Anyway. Let's get on with it. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome, Rocky River. Don't expect to see too much on the water here. We've already casted a Rocky River game this season. Core is a big content creator. You would have witnessed him over on Twitch before if you haven't already. I'll leave a link in the description. But I'm also going to be leaving a link in the description to EGC TV, who are currently, right now, as of this video, doing the Red Bull Wallalol El Renado Age of Empires 4 qualification stage. That is correct. The El Renado qualification stages are underway. So if you want to go check that out, I'll leave a link down in the description and probably in the pinned comment as well as to where you can go catch that. It'll be live, this video, it'll be live tomorrow as well, and I think every weekend going forward for the next couple of months, it'll probably be live. It's quite a qualification stage, and all for one question, who will face Marine Lord in that grand final? So I know that Core is definitely going in and trying his best. He's going to be up against Beastie eventually, so it's, Beastie's kind of his kryptonite, I think. But anyway, Mr. Skibbity, he's going to have a bit of a tough game today. Let me talk a little bit about this, just mainly because for Mr. Skibbity, apologies, still getting used to my keybinds here, Mr. Skibbity's got a bit of a hard matchup here. So this matchup, the Ottomans against the Chinese, is very difficult. And the reason why I say that is because the Chinese have the Zhuge Nu. Now, the Ottomans can always look to try and play it feudal and go for the meta. The problem is the meta's just going to get sniped out. Every single time you come in, the meta is going to get sniped out by those Zhuge Nu. And you're going to lose that +1 ranged armor that really matters against the Zhuge Nu. And it makes it very difficult. In fact, the Chinese are so strong against the Ottomans in this matchup that you can open with 2 TCs. End Song Dynasty and still defend 9 times out of 10 against an Ottoman rush. So rushing a person, at least in the second age, is kind of out of the question here, I would say, for Skibbity. I'm curious to see exactly how he looks to play this one out. Now, I did a bit of research into Skibbity. I tried to determine who this guy is. I know he's a Conqueror 3 player, but that's all I know, so I don't know too much more about him. I don't think he's like a Smurf, like Marine Lord or Vortex or anything like that. You know, sometimes those guys do get some wild names on their Smurfs going, but the micro seems pretty decent here early on with this spear, just baiting away these vills, and this is very annoying. This will actually slow down your Song Dynasty quite a lot. So the question is, where do you go if you're playing the Ottomans and you're up against the Chinese? And I think the answer is almost certainly in a fast castle. Fast castle here is going to be great for him because it's going to mean that he'll be able to get up to the castle age. He should be able to pick up the majority of relics in this matchup. So I would be expecting he would get at least 4 relics. You can see he's trying to bait in the spear. Doesn't manage to actually find it though. I don't know why he didn't actually go for it right then. Bill's going to be brought back. Core not doing the best right now as he takes out that spear finally. Having a bit of a tough time there. Does manage to get enough gold in the bank here. He's going to just be able to do one little drop off with the Imperial Official. And he's got all the gold he needs. Now he needs to think about the second town center and whether he looks to go into it. Now the alternative here is that he could also go for a castle age himself. Most recently, the Chinese have been buffed up. But I'd be kind of surprised if they did. I mean, you're not really playing to your strengths if you just go straight into Castle Age. Though, to be fair, who knows? You know, I guess when the devs change landmarks around, so for anybody wondering what I'm actually talking about, we're talking about this landmark right, not this one right here, but this landmark right here, the Imperial Palace. They've switched it around. So it's, well, not switched it around, but they've made it a little bit better. Town Center's got some good fire here. All the vills get some decent shots off as well. Spearman down to 6 health. He ain't got a chance there. Not a single chance, Skibby. Get on out of there. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see a second TC coming, but the fact that he throws the Barbican on the gold, to me, almost says he wants to go straight up to Castle Age. And I think that perhaps the Imperial Palace could complement that quite a bit. I guess the other thing to note, he's got 8 vills on wood. There's no way you're going fast castle with this many vills on wood. Have a look at how many sheep he's got, though. This is quite a few sheep here for him. So obviously this is part of the brand new update as well, where you start off with a few more sheep, but the sheep generally have a little bit less food. Over on the other side of the map, we'll check in with Skibbity and see how he's doing, as it looks like it might be a second town center. 5 vills on the stone. Bit of a curious opening here for Mr. Skibbs. He does have the trade network up. A lot of vills here on wood as well. And we do now see a spearman beginning to move around with the scout as well on the bottom side. So a bit of a passive opening here. About as much as you would really expect. And a lot of vills now going to be coming out, able to surround that spearman and very quickly shut down that aggression. So a little bit of a mistake there by Skibbity. On the other side of the map, let's take a look and see what option he goes for here. I wouldn't be surprised to see Anatolian Hills, and that's exactly what it's going to be here. Now, one thing to note is Anatolian Hills still provides 8 sheep, but the sheep are only 200 food. So Anatolian Hills did cop an indirect nerf in the most recent update. So bit of a nerf to the Ottomans in general, because Anatolian Hills is quite popular here. So I guess the devs will probably have to pay attention to that, see if it's performing well, if it's underperforming, all that kind of stuff. And then from there, look to maybe give it a buff or two. Maybe, what do you even go up to? Maybe 10? I think 10 makes sense, right? Because you've got 8 and you've lost 50 off each. So yeah, up to 10 sheep would make the most sense. But second TC coming down now for core. 6 minutes and 45 seconds. Not too bad little timing for him here. Looking forward to seeing what he's got in store for us. But I wouldn't be surprised if it's just going to be a very straight or very strict Castle Age. The fact that he's got the Barbican here on the gold, to me, this basically just says, okay, it's time to go. He's got the second Imperial official out as well here. Just a couple of fills on wood. Meanwhile, let's check back in on the other side, and it looks like Skibbity what's the plan for Mr. Skibbity? I really don't know what he's up to right now. He's still in the second age. Is there an age up that I've missed or something? Where is he spending all the resources that he's got? Is he just going crazy on upgrades or something? Like, we're 7 minutes into this game, and he was putting down an archery range now, but survival techniques is coming through. I'm trying to understand where all the resources have gone, because I don't feel like 2 military schools and a blacksmith is like where you should be at with 7 minutes 40 with the Ottomans, but it is, and it just kind of, it feels, never mind. That's where all the resources are. I'm sitting here wondering, like, where is he spending his resources? Like, he should be clicking up here. He should be dropping the second TC. Now, if anything, this is actually really good for core, because, as you guys will know, Chinese, with the Song Dynasty, producing villagers like absolute madmen. And this is naturally something good for core, because it means he's going to be making more vills than his opponent, but they've both got the same goal, right? Like, Skibbity's goal is, I want to get to Castle Age, and I want to make lots of vills. I don't want to fall too far behind the Chinese. Whereas the Chinese player's goal is, I want to get to Imperial. I want to get there as quickly as I possibly can, and then I want to beat you there. That's essentially the goal of both of these players, and for both of them, it kind of goes in the same direction. So I think the big questions for me, what does Skibbity, because it's really going to be about, you know, core is going to be looking to just defend and go Imperial. That's no question in my mind. The question's about how Skibbity is going to look to approach that, whether he looks to try and play it in the Fortress Age, in the Castle, in the Heroic Age. Let's throw that one out there. I know you guys have been enjoying the AOM. I tell you what, man, I've been really enjoying the AOM. I can't wait for it to come back, man. I'm very excited. You know, I was thinking about Outback Octagon. I was like, you know what, maybe, like, do we dare do like Outback Octagon but do it on AOM? I couldn't imagine. Like, I don't think we're going to have all of the proper tools for it. And to me, it just wouldn't feel right to do Outback Octagon, the third Outback Octagon, but do it on AOM. But then it's just like, I know if I'm going to do it, like, there's a part of me that's just like, you know, wouldn't that be cool? It would be pretty cool to see, because you've got like 12 different civs already, like out of the box, that you can play. So it just feels like there's a lot of variety in there already, but who knows? Custom games, AOM, it's going to be pretty exciting. From what I've heard, Don actually sent me a message about this. He's like, Drongo, I don't know if you know this, but AOM, custom games were the shiz. That's what he said. Not my words, his words. He was the one who said they were the shiz. And yeah, he was just saying you're going to like it a lot. So anyway, we'll see how it goes, and hopefully they get a nice little FFA mode together. But Sabahi now going to be coming through. Double racks already out here for core. This is kind of standard from what we expect. Riding on board now with core on the south side of the map as the age up is getting denied. And Obviously, this is a big mistake for anybody who regularly watches our videos. They'll know that the clock tower should be next to the town center, next to the Barbican, so that you can pop these villagers instantly inside, and then that way they're not under real threat here. So he does manage to eventually get it up. Over on the other side of the map, though, we do have the age up about to come through from Skibidi. It's going to be the MIA. No real surprise there, so a little bit behind where Core is. But I think overall, about what you'd expect in this matchup. Look at this, Sipahi just doing a little bit of work. Hold on a minute. I'm not really much of a watch guy, but I've got like an Apple Watch, and I try and wear it because you want to track your heart rate and not your O2 and all that kind of stuff and your sleep. And I tell you what, man, it makes me itchy. I get very itchy with it. I don't know. Maybe it's the band. Anyway, Sipahi causing a little bit of trouble here. Core trying his best, manages to get a bit of damage on there, but look at the idle time that's coming out right now. Skibidi doing a decent job. MIA about to come up. Spear able to repel. The market going to be coming down on the front. Market of all things. Little bit curious. I was expecting that it was going to be. That's what I was thinking. I was like, it should be a monastery. But speaking of monastery, on the other side of the map, I don't know which unique upgrades he's gone for, which unique techs he's gone for just yet. But my suspicion is, yeah, we don't see any imams out just yet. So that's one of the things where it's like, it kind of makes sense to be going for those imams, especially when you're prioritizing Castle Age, because right now you could have those imams on the field and just 1, 2, gone instantly. 2 relics out of the gates, but it looks like he is going to go into that next military school. So we do see 4 military schools coming out. This is what I was, in my heart of hearts, I was like, okay, this is what I hope he does. So we can see that this is what I like to call the Ottoman push-off. Think of it in your head as like, when you're swimming and you push off the wall. That's what's happening right here. Skibidi is setting up to just put all of his power into those legs and just boost off that wall, and just he's going to enjoy a lot of floating time. Let's just put it that way. So 4 military schools together with the MIA is going to be producing a lot of units. Together with the fact that he's gone under 2 TCs, he's going to be pumping. The other option that he's got here is he can just go Imperial himself in this situation for Great Bombards, because one of the things about this matchup in particular is that while the Chinese do like to play into siege, they do have trouble against the Great Bombards. The Great Bombards are particularly difficult to deal with as the Chinese, just mainly because you don't have access to the Culverin. You've only got access to Springald, so you really have to invest a lot of population space into Springalds. And if you don't do that, it means that you're basically just going to have to try and fight them with lances, and obviously they've got Janissaries. It's a very difficult combo to try and break. So I think as long as Skibidi actually walls up, if he goes Imperial, he should be fine. Because the main issue he's going to have are those run-bys. But have a look at this. All the relics slowly coming in here. Slowly but steadily for Core. Palace Guards now going to be joining out on the field 13 minutes into the game. We might get our first little look at a bit of action, a bit of military on military. Upgrades coming through on the side of Skibidi as well. We'll switch over to the income per minute shortly. Crossbow's going to get their first taste of the blade as they continue to kite back. Decent kiting so far here from Skibidi. I think he definitely got caught a little bit by surprise here. Not expecting this many Palace Guards this early out of the gates. More of them now going to be routing towards this central location. So far, no upgrades coming through just yet for Core. On the side of Skibidi, though, he does start to have upgrades coming through. Sipahi has found its way through. As you can see, the walls aren't completed just yet. Decent little trade post as well. Both of them have got a max distance trade post here, so I will expect if the game does go long, we will have trade being a pretty big component of this. Sipahi about to get run down. Now, we did see a nest of bees coming out a little bit earlier. Let's have a look and see. Yeah, he's just got the one for now. So I'd love to see for Core. He's got a couple of ways he could play it, but I think moving into a nice big mass of Palace Guards and then starting to try and get some run-bys going through, there's some pretty vulnerable spots out here for the Ottoman player. So as long as he's able to find those, I think he can definitely be rewarded. Hold on a minute. Is this a... No, it's not. Okay. It's just a normal meta. I got myself a little bit concerned there. All right, so military schools at the moment, still no advanced military school just yet. So could be looking to save it, maybe even moving up to the faster production. That could be an option for him. But I hope that he does move into Siege Works. Siege Works is very powerful because it just gives you that extra attack speed for all of your siege. Make sure that it combines very well with the meta so that when you do get into those big fights with siege on the backside, you're able to actually take out the enemy Springalds very effectively. But now Morville's going to be rotating through here. Let's switch it over to income per minute, get a bit of an idea on where these two are at 15 minutes into the game. Relic count is 3 versus 0. So interesting decision here from Skibidi not to go after the relics. Let's take a look and see. It looks like we're sitting at 900,000, so that's going to be 1,900. Mango gets a nice shot off. 1,900, 2,400, about 2,500 plus the free units. And then on the side of core, you got 1,000, about 2,500 on that side as well. So pretty even when it comes to the economies. Even though core is slightly ahead, we do see more upgrades that have come through at this stage for Skibidi. He's got +2s on his food and his wood gathering. He's also got those military schools just pumping units out, so don't forget that. But Nesta B is going to get some decent shots off. No real response just yet to this. And I wouldn't be surprised if after Skibidi sees this, he just says, you know what, we're just going to peace out for a little bit right here. Maybe call it Imperial time. It's always a nice little way to play it. I think realistically, if he's going to play Imperial, he probably wants to go straight Imp and then just get elite upgrades and then push off that. Let's take a look and see, though, how he goes about it. He is looking to get a bit of a farm transition in here. Still a couple of sheep underneath the town center at this stage of the game. Meanwhile, Granary is coming up for core on the south side, so farming transition is on the way. Still got this safe relic at the back that is yet to be picked up, by the way. So it's 1 relic against 4, which is really not where you wanted to be on the side of the Ottomans. So I don't know exactly what happened with Skibidi, but I definitely felt like his opening wasn't the smoothest that it could have been. You know, I definitely like the 2 military schools and the blacksmith. I love the second town center, but it definitely felt like his age up timing was a little bit delayed. And I also think not going for the imams was a bit of a mistake, just because it guaranteed that you denied 2 relics off your opponent and secured them for yourself. And that can really play out quite well for you in the long run. And arms numbers starting to look good here, though. Nothing really to counter out the Nesta Bs on the side of core. In fact, he's got quite a few Springalds here as well, up to 3 Springalds now. Are they all clock tower? They are too. So he's definitely doing some decent work here. For core, I'd love to see a keep thrown down. The keep to me is just like the guarantee that you're not really going to get pushed, and it will guarantee that you can go up to Imperial. And that's what you want to do. You want to try and get to that last age. And just make sure that you can get your elite upgrades through. But now we start to see those men-at-arms breaking in. Keep in mind there are no farms down on this bottom side. There are a couple of vills through here, which you can always obviously look to bring down around the edges, throw a gate on and keep them safe. But looks like the reaction from core will be here. He's got Spear together with the Palace Guards. Nesta B's nowhere to be seen just yet. Yet to actually bring them back. And a look at this, a huge amount of siege that's building up here. 4 Springalds. Now the Men-at-Arms are going to take a pretty decent fight. Remember, Men-at-Arms do very well against Palace Guards, just mainly because the Palace Guards, they're faster, but they do have less stats than the Men-at-Arms. So that's the other thing to note. So they've got less armor, yeah, that obviously in a heads-up fight, that makes a bit of a difference. But it looks like the overwhelming numbers are going to favor core today. Have a look at the military population difference, though, as we do see Skibidi starting to climb, and it does look like, speaking of climate, it looks like he might be climbing right now for the last age, slowly making his way up. It's going to be 2 sacred sites captured, 3rd one about to come through as well. Well, he does threaten a potential sacred victory, obviously. Not really going for it, though. It's more of one of those things where it's like, I've just got the sacred sites for a little bit of passive gold, don't mind me. 4th relic now picked up by core. We'll be able to throw it in the monastery shortly. He has chopped through, so needs to be careful here. Leaves a little bit of an opening. So there's sacred victory on the way. Plenty of units out here, though. Springled numbers quite low, and I wouldn't be surprised if core holds this with his eyes closed. I mean, realistically, you can shift-click your Springalds on the enemy mangoes, and then just, like, A-move your Palace Guards, your Spears, and your Nesta Bs. And I think you should be pretty fine in this situation. Interestingly, goes into crossbows here. This is definitely nice to complement the composition that he's already got. We do now see on the other side of the map, it's going to be the Istanbul Observatory thrown down right next to an existing blacksmith there. So, I mean, realistically, it's got a huge AoE on it. You don't really need to worry too much about this one. You know, if you're filling out the entirety of the AoE of the Istanbul Observatory, you're doing something right. We'll say that much. All right, but slowly we see the units. Now, one of the things that core could do here, so core's got 2 ways to play this. You can see he's probably going to go for the latter, but the first one is to try and fight before the enemy upgrades their units. So the big one that you're going to be looking out for is roller shutter triggers. Even in this case where there's only 1 Springled out, roller shutter triggers can still matter quite a bit. For me, though, I would be prioritizing going after my elite men-at-arms. So I think that's going to be the most important one. How many vills do we have on gold at the moment? Yeah, 23 on gold's a pretty decent number as well. So he should be prioritizing those upgrades and then looking to push at the same time. Meanwhile, for core, so he can just go up and then just supervise his upgrades out. That's the other thing to note, is that, you know, he could just supervise his, as long as he's got a siege workshop. I don't think he does though, but he could look to just, you know, he could supervise the, you know, elite palace guards. Let's just do that. We'll supervise elite palace guards, but you can see as soon as the age up comes in, look what Core does. He pushes. He says, I want to make sure that I'm pushing you before these upgrades come in. He's got 13 seconds until Janissary upgrades come in. Not a lot of Janissaries on the field at the moment. Mangonel's firing off. Springald's going to be looking for a target here. He doesn't have a lot of infantry, though. This isn't the best place for Core. Look at Core pushing out. Has definitely overestimated the amount of siege his opponent would have in this game. The Springald's completely eaten alive. Not enough here to hold for these poor nest of bees. They're going to start going down as the units just completely surround him. There's absolutely an overemphasis here. You know, this kind of reminds me of Red Alert 3. I remember when I was playing Red Alert 3, and, you know, one of the things about gaming is you want to get better, right? And I remember I was playing Red Alert 3, and I built a whole bunch of, like, anti-aircraft, because I was playing against a faction that loves to make aircraft. And he just didn't make any aircraft. And I was like, oh, why didn't you make aircraft? And he's like, because I saw you made all those anti-aircraft. I was like, oh, yeah. And it feels like that right now. It's like there's so many Springalds on the field. It's like, why would I ever make any siege? Like, look at the amount of Springalds you've got back here, man. I'm not fighting that. These are all clock tower Springalds as well. So now, 70 against 1. Core looks to try and hold. He's got the Great Wall Gatehouse on the backside. 21 minutes into this game, it could be all over Red Rover. He's getting the cannon emplacement on the Barbican, though. Keep in mind, this does act as a keep. 5,000 health. It also is a landmark, which means it's only going to require wood rather than stone to repair, just like the Barbican, or rather the Great Wall Gatehouse on the south side. There is still quite a bit of vills back here, though, so hopefully he looks to try and get onto the other side of this stone wall on the bottom. These Springalds are going to be making a run for it. He's trying to scramble together some sort of defense here. Hand cannoneer numbers are going to start rising. He's up to 5 hand cannons at the moment. We'll be looking to pick up the Pyrotechnics upgrade. In fact, I think he's already got the Pyrotechnics upgrade, which means he's going to have that extra little bit of range here. If we can find some of his units, though, I tell you what, Janissary's doing a good job of taking out the Imperial officials. Where are those hand cannoneers? Are they locked inside the TC? I think they could be inside the TC. He's managed to do a decent job, though. Have a look at this. 40 military 40 military gone for Skibidi at the moment. So it definitely feels like Skibidi may have overstayed his welcome a little bit. Didn't have enough siege, didn't have the great bombards, didn't have enough battering rams coming through the rear. It was 70 military population against 1. And somehow, Core has managed to whittle his opponent down. The town centers, the Great Wall Gatehouse, the Barbican of the Sun. That's it. That's everything, realistically. And the hand cannoneers now do have that pyrotechnics upgrade. And now, you're facing a Chinese player, and you just made him mad. Core is mad. Core is very upset right now, so this is not going to be an easy game for you, Mr. Skibidi Toilet. If you thought... Oh, no, never mind. You've got great bombards. It's going to be an easy game for you, Mr. Skibidi Toilet. Do not fret, my friend. Oh, Lord. Goodbye, sweet Palisade Wall. Gosh. Tell you what, every Civ should have the Great Bombard. It is kind of good. It's a decent unit. We'll say that much. So, Core's managed to hold. He didn't lose that many vills. He didn't lose that many vills. Yeah. Really? Like, how many is 62? Like, if we were going to count, like, it's not that. You know, my 2-year-old can count to 62. Like, it's not that many, guys. I don't know what you're on it. He's fine. He's fine. No, but in all seriousness, he dropped the 3rd TC, so he's going to be absolutely... He's going to be... He's baby booming right now, okay? He is going ham with villagers, so do not worry. All you Core enjoyers out there, all you Core fans out there, Elite Spearmen and Elite Sipahi coming out. All of the Elite upgrades, by the way. Have a look at that. We've got a little bit of coverage now. You know, he's looking to try and get through this wall. The nest of bees from the Great Wall Gatehouse. Is it going to allow him? It's doing some pretty decent work here. Now, towards the south side, there's only a handful of vills that are down here, actually gathering up. And there's a wall that's coming up along the edge here. He's managed to pepper the Angus of all of those units. Barely any health left on those bad boys at all. Sacred Site was eventually neutralized by Core. We can see it's turned over towards his trusty... Oh, this is a big mistake. No Imperial official. So many vills here, gathering up the gold. And no Imperial official. Really, really painful. You know, this is 35 vills on gold. This could be 45 vills on gold. Plus, it's a whole extra amount of gold that you're just getting, right? 8k, it goes to 9.6k. So it's just it's that little thing, right? Like it can be hard though. Imperial officials love to, well, let's just put it this way. They don't enjoy living that much. Hand cannons together with spears, a formidable combo in the late game. Sipahi numbers are starting to build here as well. He's going to try and throw a gate down here just to make sure he's safe. Keep his under pressure. Great bombard towards that top side, making sure he stays alive. Gets the wall up. Sipahi numbers are overwhelming here. Together with the Janissaries, have a look at that. Definitely a favorite combo coming out from the Ottomans, the Sipahi Janissary combo. I love this combo. This is one of my favorite combos, especially in FFA when you've got a lot of population space. You know, back it up with a couple of great bombards. It just really feels good because, well, yeah, you're using all the resources. It just balances them perfectly. Vil count is going to start to drop here. We can see he's lost 72 workers already. Needs to pop them inside and bring them down to this little angle here so he can defend on the back instead of challenging at the front. But he's instead just going to look to try and push the great bombard off. Have a look at that. Keeper's on 1,600 health at the moment. Springalds all going to go down if he's not careful. Janissaries together with the Sipahi. Going to be able to take them out. Looks to try and get a rewall in, but the Gens are back out on that north side. Just cleaning up the Vils. Core on 99 Vils at the moment. Only 89 workers lost, guys. It's not that bad. Things are fine. For the Chinese, this is fine. This is fine. This is barely a flesh wound. Great bombard managed to survive. What was it? 7 health? He gets it away, skibbities his way to the edge of the map, gets himself a little bit of a toilet break, up against the wall. Someone comes in to give him a bit of a heal, and we're absolutely fine and dandy, but Core somehow manages to even things up. He's looking good. Now, where's the university for Core? Let's take a look and see if we've got a university up just yet. It doesn't look like it, which means we're missing out on some big upgrades. Now, of course, we've got chemistry coming through for the hand cannoneer, which is wonderful, but elite army tactics is a big one that we're missing out right now. We're also going to be missing ancient techniques, which is the unique Chinese upgrade that you have available to you. You can also go this through the Spirit Way, but I mean, it's very rare that you go the Spirit Way and the Great Wall Gatehouse. So you normally just get it through the university instead if you go for the Great Wall Gatehouse. But it increases the resources that you're gathering, or at least the speed that you're gathering at. Let's check in at how Skibbity's doing, because it's been a while since we've actually talked about the Toilet Man towards this north side. By the way, if you guys don't get like this toilet reference, just Google Skibbity Toilet. Actually, you know what? Just don't. Just do yourself a favor. Don't. It's kind of crazy, man. The numbers blew my mind when I saw it. I'm like, how? Why are there so many people that are watching this? Like, there's a toilet. And it's going skibbity, skibbity, skibbity. Okay, sure. I guess that's why it's got like 6 billion views. Yeah, B with a billion. B with a billion. Billion with a B. There you go. 200 for Skibbity. 195, 200 for Core. We're going to throw down a keep. It's going to cancel it immediately. Vil's going to be moving back towards that top side. And now slowly and steadily, infantry numbers are pushing forward. Core's happy with this fight. Springalds are a little bit too far behind. They get off a lot of free shots here. And he manages to find a decent position for him. Still needs to bring these back. Oh, Core, I can't help but feel like right now this was this was not a good decision, Core. Oh, Core's throwing away the game right now. Look at all of the spears where they needed to be. Springalds didn't ever get a chance to fire on the great bombards. You hate to see it, but still the numbers are decent because keep in mind he's got very efficient trades in here because of the spears, very cheap units, together with that long range on the hand cannoneers. It just enables you to have that one up. Keep in mind the Janissary, it's got 3.5 tiles of range, so it does not feel good to be a Janissary when it comes to this kind of fight. Now, the question becomes, where is the gold? Now, we've got 4k gold here. We've got another 2.7k gold here, so Core's still got quite a bit of gold. Now, remember earlier I mentioned trade? Trade's going to be really important in this game, as long as this game sticks around. I suspect it probably will with the way it's going. Core managed to hold off there. An impressive amount of military inside the base. Right, largely thanks to the Great Wall Gatehouse. I mean, that's what happens when you mess with the bull. You do get the horns. Back on the side of Skibbity. How's the economy going? Let's do a quick check here. We're at 2,400, 3,600, 47, 49. We'll call it 5k. Wow, that felt very, very regal, didn't it? It's not every day you get to hear that. So about 5k income per minute. And then on the side of Core, we've got about 6k actually coming through for him. A decent number for him. But Trouble in paradise. Vils now going to be making their way forward. Outpost going to be thrown down. Now, fortunately, this gold vein does have a backup towards the south side. We can see plenty more Vils going to be migrating out in this area. Outpost is going to get denied immediately. He's going to need to rebuild. Meanwhile, towards the middle. Hello, hello. Don't worry. Uncle Drongo has got it under control. We saw it. Don't worry. But there's a little bit of a threat right now coming in from the north. And just remember that a lot of your gold gatherers, your food gatherers are up towards this position. And there's really not much damage you can do here. You don't have a lot of siege, at least not yet. I know there's a bombarding queue, or at least there was a bombarding queue, not anymore. And that's always going to be an option. Meanwhile, towards that central location, the reinforcements here just going to be able to help Skibidi defend quite easily. Bombard continues to fire down, even though he's got that split formation. He's just losing a lot of units here where he doesn't need to be. You know, he's now gonna start pushing into the Great Bombard, and as you can see, it's not going well. This is like man versus what do you call that thing? I mean, you know, I don't know what I call that thing, but I know what my wife calls that thing, and that. Sorry. Oh my god, I was gonna say it's the guy she tells you not to worry about. Like that was the guy. That was the joke I was trying to make. Not that. I didn't. Oh man. I'm sorry, honey. I don't. God, what have I done? I didn't mean for it to go down that way. You know, sometimes it be like it is, but it do. That's the truth. Anyway, hand cannoneers have made their way towards that top side. He's looking to try and find some Vils out here. Manages to spot over the wall. Spots a couple on the backside. Should be okay to pick them up. Meanwhile, over towards this east side, we have now finally seen that bombard out on the field. It's a clock tower boy as well, which means we've got extra oomph behind that. Have a look at this. Finally get that great bombard going down. Second one going to be going down shortly here as well. I can't see any way he keeps this alive. Even if he pulls these 3 Vils up and runs rings around this little position, and these units here decide that it's probably more efficient for us to just run around the giant wall here. How did he actually get that? I think it was because he stopped running, right? Like he needed to keep going. That was a lot of units that were attacking him. I think even if he did that well, it wouldn't have happened. Janissaries on the front though. I didn't know Janissaries were this good at sieging, but it turns out, well, yeah, I was right. They're not that good at sieging. At the moment, the banks for these guys, not looking that healthy. If anything, a little bit healthier on the side of Skibidi, though Core does have 3,400 gold in the bank, which always feels good if you've got that, like, if you've got plenty of gold in the bank, you're all right. Things are okay. Monastery back on the side, looking to recover the relics here. Needs to be careful about losing them, donating them over to the opponent. A lot of military units now starting to stream in here for Skibidi. Core's got to be careful. Wants to avoid losing these Springalds. One of the things to note is we still don't have that extra HP coming through yet from these for the Springalds, and because of that, the Janissaries just eat them alive. You can see that the amount of damage that they're taking, and Core's in trouble. 33 minutes into this game, there's once again 80 military units inside his base, but fortunately this time it does look like he has a pretty decent response here, or response rather. I don't know where all of his military is though. It says he's got 40 military pop. I don't know where. I don't know where it is. Where's his university, by the way? He's surely gone for a university. No, still doesn't have the university. This is a massive mistake from Core, especially with so much gold in the bank. Like, it's just basically free upgrades at this point. You know, extra 30%, is it 30%? 20% health and damage on your infantry, extra 30% health and armor on your Springalds. Like, these are just mandatory upgrades that we can't be forgetting. Even at the Conqueror 3 level, it does still happen, though. And I guess when you're under pressure like this game, you know, he's only lost 112 Vils. It's not that many. But, you know, when you're in a high-octane game, like, there's going to be things that you forget, and obviously that is one of them today. But now, the defense, once again, don't doubt this guy, ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you. Do not doubt this. Ooh. Okay, all right. Doubters, where you at? Because that's a lot of great bombards. This is the amount of great bombards where you actually need to be like, okay, we're gonna build 3 siege workshops to deal with this. And yeah, it's quite an investment that you're going to have to make if you want to actually deal with that. This is the real trouble right here. What do you do against this? You know, they didn't nerf this one in the last patch. We'll say that much. In fact, if anything, I think they buffed the Ottomans, didn't they? Barbican goes down. Core taps out. Ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be it. Go check him out. I'll leave a link in the description of where you can watch Core. I'll leave a link in the description of where you can go watch EGC TV. Go watch them right now. If this video has been uploaded in the last like 5 hours or so, they're probably still live. So go say good day, and of course catch them tomorrow. Anyway, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.